Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Kayak Bass Nation is presented by Dugout Bait and Tackle. Go to dugoutfishing.com to find everything you need for your next kayak bass fishing tournament.
Hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego.
Also sponsored by Revo Sunglasses. Go to revo.com, use code KBN25 to save 25% off your next order. Revo, best lenses on earth. Also sponsored by Western Sun Vodka. Go to westernsundistillery.com and use the bottle finder to find a bottle near you.
Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. It's me, Jeff Malott, your host, and a rack of clothes instead of Lunch Money Lambert. Now, he'll be back in here in just a second. He went to fill up his drink. There he is, coming in hot. Yeah, man. So, welcome to KBN Live. We got some folks on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. We went live with the clothes rack in the back there, Ryan.
Right on time, man. Right on time. Hey, if anybody wants any Yak Addicts products, I have a stack full here behind me, so jump in.
Piles and piles. So if anyone read the description earlier today, we are doing a little giveaway tonight, a Dugout Bait and Tackle giveaway to go along with the big sale that's going to happen next week. All you got to do to win the Dugout prize is share this stream, go like the Dugout page and like our page. And there you go. Make some comments tonight, and we will look there, maybe pull somebody from the YouTube comments and give them something as well, because we love our YouTube audience. It's getting as big as the Facebook audience, which is crazy. We never thought we'd get there, so we love the folks over on YouTube.
We never thought we'd get here, so that's
true. That's true. We got a big show tonight. We got two guests: Chris Hartman, local Arkansas guy here, one of the better anglers in Arkansas, kind of made his mark, and we got a great story from him. We're going to talk about the Bass Nation event on Smith Lake over there. Yeah,
So actually, those were those are both Bass Nation events. One was Bass Nation Tennessee. One was the Kayak Bass Nation event.
Right. And then Bass Nation Tennessee. Randall Wallace is coming in hot for the second half of the show. Talk about his win over there. If you're looking at this, I did a little something different. I shared this to the group page directly, like went live in the group directly. And if you try to comment from there, if you don't accept the StreamYard terms, it doesn't give your name. So if you're trying to hide, that's cool. You don't have to give your name. But if you want your name to be shared, make sure you click the little approve StreamYard deal. And
we've had several anonymous requests today, I think.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So that's good.
Yeah, I was going to get into the weekend or the week that was first. I guess we can talk about that first, man. We've been getting some DOJ requests, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we definitely have. It seems like our services are needed somewhere there.
Yeah. Let's see. The one I got today, which I wasn't aware of, it's on the bass boat side of things. I guess there was a big fish kill in a tournament in California on Lake Folsom. I don't know the proper pronunciation.
Folsom Lake, I think. I think it's Folsom Lake.
But apparently, I saw the video of it and saw some stuff. Apparently, Game and Fish came to the weigh-in. They caught a bunch of fish, released them, and they all died. There was a dude that had a video of all the fish floating at the ramp, and that's a shame, man. Wherever that happens, I don't know what else to say about it.
Was it super hot out there, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were catching spawners or something. I don't know, but the fish died. Game and Fish got involved somehow, so I'd like to see more details on that. I think there was some stuff out on the Wild West Bass Trail page about it. Maybe some of the Cali Facebook groups. I'm not sure.
I thought California had laws against bass dying and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was like $25 just to catch one fish, like $25 a fish or something like that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible news out of South Carolina. South Carolina Bass Nation had an event, and there was some interesting back and forth on this one. The photos that I was sent, apparently an angler that finished in the money had some pictures with obviously a PFD on. You can see in one of his photos, he had the board laid, higher up across his knees, and I think across like a drive well at one point. So in one of the photos, you clearly see the PFD. In another two photos, you see a PFD laying in the floor of the kayak behind the picture. And I didn't even see that. I was like, all right, guys, so what's the point here? Like, what, why are you sending me this stuff? And they're like, you notice anything? I'm like, holy cow. Like, there's the exact PFD, the exact model PFD. Apparently, in the angler's defense, he says that he had two PFDs. They were the orange, generic foam PFDs. He apparently says he had one on and then another spare right there at his feet in the floor. It's naturally where you would fish with another PFD is laying in the floor of your pedal drive kayak.
In all fairness, those orange, like you're going to go ride the duck boat kind of PFDs, you can use as a seat cushion too. So maybe he was double duty.
Maybe it was a foot cushion. Maybe that's why he had it down there in the floor. He just had his foot propped up for better circulation.
Yeah. Garrett Clark's in the comments said they were transporting fish from that tournament 20 minutes away to a Walmart parking lot to weigh in, which is probably how they all that.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Hey,
but still, they were transporting them though in the live well of the boat, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's not unheard of to move fish around in the live well. Like most of the, when they do the Bassmaster Championships, they transport them like an hour in the live wells. So not unheard of.
Hey,
was it super hot?
Apparently so. I don't know. I'm looking for more details on that. I just heard some of it today, but it's a shame. And somebody also in the comments said that organization is in some deep trouble. So, but Garrett Clark, man, speaking of Garrett Clark, he won the first Pro Tour event out there.
Dude, I saw that. And honestly, Garrett, and we're going to make up for this, we should have had you on tonight. And I didn't realize it until today after we had already booked both these guests. So good job, man.
Maybe next week. Maybe next Monday. We're always trying to plan ahead. So.
Oh, yeah. We
let us know, Garrett.
In the future.
Let us know, Garrett. What else happened, man? One of the most shocking things I saw that happened this week, Conrad Benetti drunk his own urine, apparently, on a Facebook post, he said. And I don't know if that's lingering effect of the head injury from his car accident or what, but he went and picked up a new boat, posted a very disturbing photo of drinking.
Is it shocking?
No, not really. Yeah.
Were you surprised by it?
No, I didn't.
I wasn't.
No.
Like, I thought that was something Conrad would do to make himself more Conrad. Like, preserve his mojo or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Prayers up.
I want to know his skincare routine. I don't care what he drinks. I want to know Conrad's skincare routine. I felt like that is going to be some really, really concerning stuff there.
Hey, the dude, somebody said someone in the comments in quotes, and he's offended that we didn't name him. But it's because this is what it says. Facebook user, no profile pic.
Yeah.
You've got to accept the terms.
Feel free to identify yourself.
Yeah, accept the terms of service. That's probably Tim Arthur.
Damn, probably is.
Yeah. What else we got? Anything else? I know there were events all over the place. There's so many, you can't even name them all. It's middle of tournament season everywhere. So you were in a derb this weekend, right? Did you double dip or triple dip in all those Guntersville events?
No, dog. I was not in a derb. I did pay for two. I was never in it by any means. We'll get into that a little more when Randall comes on. But long story short, I tried to be slick. I had my daughter this weekend, so I was like, man, I can slide out and fish till like she wakes up and is ready for breakfast. Then I'll go dad it up, and then she was going to go with my sister in the afternoon. And I was like, then I can run back out for a couple more hours. Like, it's in the backyard. It's on Guntersville. I have plenty of time. TVA, I was afraid they would do it. They shut the water all the way off. They were supposed to turn it on at noon, and I was like, I'll get some current. My fish were current fish. So they turned the water on at like 2:35, and the tournament was over at 3. And I was like, ain't the day, pal. Caught a big old striper. That was it.
About how many? Few weeks or a month too late for the juice up there?
3 weeks. Literally, Dylan closed out the juice, and I told him it'd be close, but that was the end of the magic on the smallmouth. They are non-existent now.
Cameron Tedderton in the comment said 2 different PFDs on that one fella you're talking about. One red, one orange. Photo verification. I think we said allegedly, so we're not slandering anybody.
No,
allegedly.
we didn't slander anybody at all. I said that's exactly what the guy said happened. So
yeah, allegedly. So
no
trouble here, man. We're not slandering anybody.
Yeah, ain't nobody
not
slandered you, pal. But
not yet, anyway.
That was the story.
We're slandering Tim for not having a Facebook profile pic anymore. He's trying, but that is him, by the way. Ryan Tim Arthur is the Facebook.
Is
user.
it really?
Yeah,
all right,
that's him. All right. Well, before we get the first guest in here, let's talk about our sponsors. Of course, we're doing the Dugout giveaway tonight with the big sale coming up next week. I've got a picture to talk about it. You kind of know some of these details, don't you, Ryan?
Oh yeah. Now they got some really hot deals here as far as what they've got published, deals on rods and tackle and whatnot. But we have a fleet of demo kayaks from Hobie and Jackson, deals too hot to mention. So please come by the shop, reach out, and we will let you know if you're looking for a new kayak at a hot price. Now is the time to get down to the Dugout Bait Tackle.
There we go. Dugoutfishing.com. And like I said, we will pick a winner at the end of the night. All you have to do is share the stream here. If you're on YouTube, we'll figure out a way to get you something. You can't share from YouTube apparently, or obviously, but we'll figure out a way to get you something because we appreciate you guys over there too. Just comment tonight. Also, as always, Revo sunglasses, best lenses on earth. They're doing work right now. You know, it's spawn season in a lot of places still, north of Arkansas and even in parts of Arkansas. Using those Revos, so go use KBN 25, and we're still trying to get the final details together on the contingency program they're going to throw together for kayak anglers out there that own Revos, but love our Revos. And then Western Sun Vodka. You got a Western Sun cooked up tonight? What you drinking?
Yeah.
Now?
Oh, yeah. Western Sun and Sprite.
We even found some down in Broken Bow, didn't we, Ryan?
We did. Blueberry. They had like 6 bottles, and it was all blueberry. So apparently that's a popular flavor in Oklahoma on the res.
On the res. Blueberries. There's some sort of spell with that. But with that said, let's get our first guest in here, man. This is a guy that I'm excited to have him because, like I said, he's from our local Central Club here in Arkansas. Great guy, Chris Hartman. What's up, Chris?
Hey, good. How are you all doing?
You're doing great, man. Ryan, you ever met Chris anywhere out there on the road? Because he's been burning.
His face looks familiar, but I can't remember a specific interaction.
I've seen you, and we also at Broken Bow on day 2. You were holding on to my kayak while
okay. I was like, your face looks so freaking familiar. I do remember that. Yeah. There are a lot of wakeboard boats bouncing around, washing people's kayaks away. So
yes.
Yeah. So Chris was one of the people that launched from that ramp with the mayhem there.
With all 40 of us there.
Yeah. There was a lot of us.
Yeah. So, like I said, Chris is well known here in Arkansas. In the last couple of years, he's been getting out, especially this last year, getting out on the road and really trying to chase some of these national tournaments. He was way up there day one on the Bass Nation event on Lake Fork. Made a run at that one, had a good finish. He was at Broken Bow this last week and made a good run there, or 2 weeks ago had a good run there. So, and has done a lot of damage here in Arkansas. I'm glad to have him on. One of the best guys I've met in this sport. Great guy. Now retired. Military, right? Fully retired?
Yeah, retired in 2017.
Yeah, fully retired. So, yeah, glad to have you on, Chris. We're excited to talk to you about this tournament. And there's even more to the story of this tournament that I want to get to. But first, we'll just get into the tournament itself and, what went down there. So, how long did you have to practice? When did you get there? And tell us what you found when you got over there.
Okay, so, yeah, I got there Wednesday. I didn't get there till Wednesday afternoon. And then mainly that was just to drive around. I had no idea. I mean, I looked at it on the map, but I had no idea that Lewis Smith Lake was so enormous. I mean, that is a gigantic lake with a lot of arms and creeks and everything coming off it. And with the amount of anglers that were in there, I thought, well, there might be 1 or 2 people at a ramp, and that'd be about it. But so I was just running around looking at some different places. I was able to fish just for maybe a couple hours on Wednesday. Went back out to an area that I ended up fishing Saturday. I went there Thursday. And just when I pulled in this small parking lot, there was, I think, 4 other kayaks already in there. But I just went and fished. I caught a 15, a 16, and an 18, like within the first hour. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this place right now. I just kind of scouted around is all I was really doing. I didn't want to fish it anymore. And then Friday, I wasn't feeling good when I woke up Friday. I don't know what the deal was. So I just kind of drove around. I didn't get out there and fish. But I drove around to some other ramps, went all the way to the western side of the lake. The ramps over there were like $10 to launch, and you could tell just by the size of the ramps that there's going to be a whole lot of ski boats and jet skis and all that other recreational stuff going on. I didn't want any part of that. So the creek that I ended up fishing on the kind of a southeast side of the lake. There was no ski boats in there. Ended up seeing about 5 jet skis, but they were in and out real quick because the way the creek was broke up, there was docks, and then they had a lot of no wake zones in between it. So there was no need for anything to go blasting all the way up that creek. So because they had to keep slowing down. So it ended up working out real good. But although I will say, when it came to Saturday launching, I pulled in the parking lot, and I think there was like 9 or 10 kayaks there.
Really?
That was
They always find you.
Yeah, that was the popular place, I guess.
They must have figured out about the no wake zones. That seems to be one of the biggest complaints on that lake, is just the amount of wakeboard traffic and boats washing out people's docks and just damaging property all across there. That's one of the huge things that you always hear about Smith Lake.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this.
Heard anything about it? So
let me ask you this, Chris. Did you get a ticket at Smith Lake? Because you were part of the contingency there at Broken Bow that was getting tickets left and right.
I did not get a ticket.
Or no, you were laughing at us that were getting tickets.
That was you and Kyle that got the tickets I knew of.
So
Okay.
a funny life hack at Broken Bow, I got a ticket on the first day. I continued to put that same ticket underneath my windshield wiper every morning, and I never got another ticket. So pro tip, when on the res, carry a spare ticket with you.
The absolute pro tip is Marcus Villanueva he had just bought a truck and he had paper tags, and apparently they can't run your paper tags, so he parked free all weekend.
That's genius, Marcus.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on, Chris. So practice. Obviously, you found a little something. So tell us about tournament day, man.
So, like I said, I pulled up in there probably 4:45 in the morning, and there was people already in the water, hanging on to the little dock there, just waiting to go at 5:30 or 5 o'clock. We could take off. Sorry. So I think there ended up being 9. By the time I left the ramp, there was about 9 kayaks either in or putting in this one small area. And then 5 o'clock came and we took off, and everybody's pretty much that I saw started down the same branch, I guess, of the creek there, but everybody started stopping. So Josh Deal, I talked to him the night before, and because I saw his truck there that he was gonna fish there, and he said he was fishing all the way in the back. I says, well, I'm going all the way to the back too. And we ended up being the only 2 that went all the way back in this creek. It was about 1.5 miles back, I think, or so. We went all the way back and just talked to each other, and he said, I'm going to fish the grass. I said, okay, I don't want to fish the grass. I'm going to fish up this side. So we had it pretty much to ourselves, other than a couple boats came in there, but for a good first hour and a half probably. So that ended up working out. I mean, I caught my first fish. Well, I wasn't catching anything. And if you hear everybody like Drew and Tim talking, I mean, a lot of people were catching on topwater or spinner baits. I tried all that stuff early. I figured topwater bite, could get something early, but I didn't see any activity, didn't do anything. And I was just like, all right, well, my old standby is the wacky rig. So pulled it out, threw it right at a tree, and 19-incher hit it right when it hit the water. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is in my hands for the rest of the day. So
Can't argue with it when they're eating it. That's hard to beat.
From then on, I mean, by 10:30 or so, I probably caught 20 fish. And it was
mostly spots or spots and largemouth.
There was a few largemouth in there, mostly spots, but yeah, there was a couple largemouth in there. But I just ended up working the whole bank, and then I cut across, and there was a big laydown. I caught a 18 out of there, and then I just did that circle like 3 times. But come about 10:30, everything really slowed down, the bite. And then I ended up picking up a 16 around 11:30, and that was my last. I couldn't colt the 16, and I just needed to get a 16 and a half or a 17, and I would have had hung on.
And you were doing pretty good the whole day. Like you had a pretty sizable lead throughout the day, because Jeff was talking trash for you in our group chat. Oh yeah, he's like, my boy Chris is laying the wood to him down there. And then somebody was like, I can't believe Drew Gregory won another one. I was like, the hell are y'all talking about? Like, Jeff's done talked about this dude laying the wood all day. And then I looked at the board and I was like, by a freaking half inch. Like that is that's how that goes.
If you listen to his talk, he said that he had no service all day. So he said he never looked at the leaderboard, and he switched areas and then started throwing a whopper plopper, which never crossed my mind, but started throwing a whopper plopper and cold his whole everything and got himself to 89 and a half. So
I watched
Drew.
his story that morning, and you could hear like a waterfall or something. Like, I mean, Drew's always. I coined the term creek sweeper the other day when I shared his win. But I mean, he is always just up in some skinny little stuff, and you could hear the waterfall in the background on his story update. And I was like, man, ain't no telling what he's found back in there. And sure enough, he seems
I
to
think the last
find
time he
top
was
3
on
fish
here,
all the time.
last time he was on here, he talks about he just pretty much power fishes the whole time, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, dude, he fishes 10,000 miles an hour all the time.
Yeah. I'm better with the finesse. I can't do that.
I like
shout
fishing slow
out to
myself.
Drew, man. Congrats to Drew. We had Drew on a few weeks ago, so we didn't want to have him on again this close together, but you know, that dude's a hammer, and he had his new boat released. I think he was in it for this tournament, so couldn't go.
I watched the video on that thing earlier. It's a pretty solid looking as far as like lightweight, you know, affordable paddlecraft goes. I think it's kind of in a league of its own in that category.
Yeah. Well, you kind of told us how your day went, and I want to pivot off to something else that I asked Chris if we could talk about it before I brought him on. And it's the reason I started messaging our group, and I was messaging Roy and Garrett and everybody else trying to find out if you actually won throughout the day, because Saturday morning, I didn't fish Saturday. I woke up, you know, sitting on the couch, scrolling through my phone, and I saw Chris made a post that this would have been he and his wife's anniversary. That Saturday would have been. Yes. And then the next thing I know, I click over on Tourney X, and my man's got a 10-inch lead, and I'm like, holy crap, they can't make movies better than this. This is amazing. So I was watching it all day, and it was, you know, going back and forth. So if you want, Chris, talk a little bit about that. I know, you know, you and your wife, and she battled through, you know, a tough disease, and I know you lost your wife last year, and I know that was hard on you. And I want to talk a little bit about how fishing's kind of helped you go through that, but what that day was like, you know, being your anniversary and having that kind of success. You know, take us through that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I can tough guy this through this.
Yeah, me too. So
you maybe remember a couple years ago somebody put on, I don't remember who it was exactly, it was up there in Northwest, but they put on a kind of a benefit type thing for my wife, just that I was going to donate the money to cancer. So 3.5 years ago, well, now it's almost 4.5 years ago, but 3.5 years ago before she passed she was diagnosed with lung cancer, had metastasized to her brain. She had 2 brain surgeries during that time. I had quit working. So I retired in October of 2017. In November of 2017, she was diagnosed with cancer. So 1 month after I retired. I mean, so all our plans of traveling and doing kind of put on hold, obviously. So I did have another job. I quit that because of her appointments. We were driving to Houston. I mean, it was a whole lot of anybody, and there's other people out there who have people who are going through it or themselves going through it, and they understand that this is I don't know. Cancer is one of those things that just scares the crap out of me, because unless it's one of those common ones that you get tested for, you never know you have it almost until it's too late. So anybody could have anything. And that's kind of what kind of changed my whole way of thinking as far as what I am going to do with my life. So she passed away July 26th. So just last summer, after, again, a 3.5 year fight with it. And is as strange as this. So I was still fishing, and I would try to go to some of these national events, but mainly just fishing locally when I had somebody, either she was doing well or my daughter, maybe somebody was up here to just kind of be with her. And she would want to kick me out of the house. She's like, you know what, you're driving me crazy, go fishing. Just because I was always there, you know, trying to take care of her. But she knew that was my, I don't know, I don't go to church, and I'm not really in the religious scene, but at the same time, that was I considered going out on a kayak kind of like my church, my therapy, my mind just totally gets clear when I go out and fish. So then she actually said before she passed was, and she told my daughter this, to tell your daddy to keep fishing. And she wanted me to do this, you know, do some more national stuff. So after sitting home and thinking about it last year before, it's probably November, December timeframe, I'm like, you know what? We're doing it. I'm just going to go all in and go do and fish lakes that I've heard about but never seen. And so I fished. This was my 7th event between bass and Hobie just this year. So, and I'm going to Chick next week. So I'm just going to keep doing it. But Saturday, so it was kind of it was a weird feeling, honestly. I had kind of this, and I don't know what it was, but I had like this weird kind of confidence that today's going to be a good day. Even before it started, I just kind of had that feeling. And then I hit that 19 and I was like, okay, somebody's helping me here, because this doesn't happen. For me anyway, it hasn't. This year's been pretty rough. The first few, I mean, I wasn't even catching limits during tournaments, but the last few I've been able to kind of be more consistent with it. But then the fish just kept coming and coming. And then as I was finally, I got 5 and I just went to the leaderboard because I didn't want to really stop and do them one at a time until I got them, at least got the limit. And then I saw that it put me in the lead. It was like an 82 something. And then I culled out a couple small fish and got that 16. It took me to 89. And I was like, oh my gosh, this might happen. But it was a weird kind of calming feeling though, too. It wasn't like I was stressed about it. I was just fishing, and it was, I can't really explain it any other way, but somebody was helping me, I think. So
100%, man. 100%. And that, I know half an inch, Drew snuck by you, but to capture, the first national top 3 like that with a, second place finish there, that had to feel amazing. I mean, it had to feel amazing on that day. It had to be special.
Well, that's what made it even, especially on that day. It was, I mean, when I first saw that this tournament was even on May 21st, I'm like, we'll see. That should be it. And what I was mainly thinking was, well, because the day was already going to be tough enough, I'm thinking, well, I'm fishing. It'll kind of keep my mind from, spending all day dwelling on focusing on that. I'll be focusing on fishing for the majority of it. So, but it kind of all tied together.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See Kyle Long, he's on the YouTube comments. All of Northwest Arkansas is rooting for you. I'm sure you went back and saw some of the stuff on our local group pages. We had people were tagging you and sharing screenshots, and
the phone was blowing up the notifications and everything. So yeah, that's awesome though. I appreciate it, really. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. What a story. Powerful stuff. So,
and I mean, we've talked about that several times on the show with different people. Like, kayak fishing is therapy for a lot of people. Like, that's how a lot of people get into the sport, is just trying to clear their head from everything that life is throwing at them. And I mean, some guys like Patrick Malone, who's in a battle with cancer right now. And Patrick is he's fighting his tail off, and he's still, like, you'll see him post when he gets to go out and fish. Now, he doesn't get to go out and fish quite as much, but still just getting back out and getting back into that kind of calm space. Like, it does so much for you, mentally. It's a good reset, kind of takes you away from all of life's problems. I think we get caught up in a lot of the mess that goes on around it and the competition and blah, 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 who's doing what. But I mean, ultimately that's what kayak fishing is. It's here to give us an outlet, and I think we need to keep that point in focus more so than competition or who's doing what. Like that's not what's important out of this whole deal.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's and one thing I would say about with as far as even kayak, especially I think it's the kayak community, and everybody has noticed this, but you hear the things about, like you were talking competition wise, even at ramps and people I don't even know, but it's like you all of a sudden, if you see somebody who's fishing in a kayak fishing, it's like you automatically feel like you almost have some kind of a connection with that person in a way.
Oh yeah, you do.
I haven't run into the person that's been totally like, not willing to help in some way, whether it's taking your kayak out of the water or holding on to, like just simple little things. It's just,
now don't go telling people I'm a good guy. Now don't
I didn't say that. I said you held on.
You're gonna ruin the rep here, pal. I was this close to just pushing it out in the middle of the lake. I was like, man,
you were holding it so it wouldn't hit
this old town here. I'm about to get out.
No, that's one of the side hustles for the Lambert Towing Service. He does kayak stabilization on the bank as well.
Yes.
You offered me a water. I was about to die, and I do appreciate that. I'm too stubborn to take it, but I was like, I probably should have taken that water. That was a warm day out there, but it's always good to meet people, especially, and that's my favorite thing about these big tournaments is you meet people from all around the country. Like our paths may not cross for anything else, but they did that day. And that, I love that part, and you got to take advantage of that, because just like now, well, I mean, fast forward 2 weeks later and here you are. Like there's it's a real small world that we live in here.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Well, Chris, we don't want to keep you too long. We got Randall waiting to come on next, but I just want to say, Arkansas is proud of you. I know your wife's proud of you, your family's proud of you. Everybody was pulling for you that day, so I'm just glad you were able to come on here, and thanks for sharing your story with us, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome
guys.
job, Chris. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Man, that was awesome.
Got me a little choked up there, man.
Yeah. All right, let's deep breath. I'm gonna bring Randall in. All right,
okay.
Here we go.
This will lighten things up.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Randall ain't got nothing serious to talk about. We're gonna be fine
All right.
on this.
Next guest, Randall Wallace.
Boy,
What's going on, fellas?
Randall. How you out in the garage tonight?
Yes, sir. The hangout spot.
So we had Randall on after he won the Spro tournament last year, and he does not remember coming on Kayak Bass Nation at all. He was out in the driveway monkeying around doing something. And he's like, I don't know how to do this. I said, you've been on the show before, Randall. Like, you have been here one time before, I promise.
I don't remember. But like I said, that was many years ago.
Hey, I mean, that's all right. We got to remember everything.
Hey,
You made it back again.
Yes, sir.
Is that your guard dog, Jeff?
Yeah, she over here taking care of things.
I got you. So Randall, you laid the wood pretty good on Guntersville. Not that that's shocking. You tend to do that once the old frog bite turns on for you. But tell us about kind of your approach to this one, because it's kind of, I don't want to say early, but a little bit early. I mean, it's late spring, and you don't expect to have a frog bite be that big of a player in a tournament like this. It's still catching some post-spawn fish.
Well, just to be flat honest about it, it's a spot deal. I mean, I left the Hobie at the house, got in the 4-wheel drive, Jackson, Kilroy, and went to work paddling. And I'm not paddling for another 6 months at least.
You didn't enjoy it. I reminded you why you have a pedal drive.
I know, but I mean, pedals, they was not going to get you there.
Really?
But
Is that her hanging on the wall back there, man? Is that the ship? All right.
That boat, man. Like I said though, it's a spot deal. It's if you know Guntersville, there's tons of grass, and from year to year, it gets hot. It's been hot the last 2 weeks, so that grass just goes nuts. And a lot of people think Guntersville frogs September, October, early November, but for kayak fishermen, man, they're in there. I mean, this time of year, May, early June, they're still in 1 to 3 foot of water. I mean, and it's in places where bass boats just can't get. So
but you can every time, and you seem to drag a check out of it about every time. Actually, what happened? So you fished the KBF event, correct?
I did.
So did you fish that spot in the KBF event?
I did not. And I will say I got a good buddy of mine that I fished with this weekend in the same spot, who talked us both out of fishing there.
No.
Yeah, we thought it might just be a little too early because he ain't had that big hot spell yet.
Yeah.
But I went back like 4 days after that KBF and it was like 93 inches.
I remember you messaged me and you're like, I had 93 down. I was like, well, you should have hit that junk up over the weekend.
What's funny about that spot is it could be, there's just a window where it turns on, and when it turns on, it lights out. But also on the other end, if you miss it, you go in there and catch 45 inches. I mean, it's just
Ryan, you got a spot like that, don't you?
Man, shut up. I know the limitations of mine, but I tried to force something stupid is what I did. I looked at that generation schedule, but somehow I thought the gods were going to shine on me, and old Johnny up there in the dam was going to slip his finger down a little bit quicker.
Tip his cap and turn it on.
I looked at it. They wasn't running but like 4,000 on Saturday. So
they were supposed to turn it up to 8,500 at 1, and they were about an hour and 15 minutes late on that deal. So I don't know. He must have took a long lunch or something.
You can look at Guntersville just from the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit that was last weekend. I mean, Thursday and Friday, they actually crushed them offshore.
Oh, yeah.
And then TVA on the weekends, they shut it down, and that offshore bite went away for most of them. It's still there. It's just harder to get them to fire.
What got me was, and this is the reason I wanted Randall to come on too, talking about that TVA system, generation schedules, and current on the weekends. leading up into the Chickamauga event here for Hobie. Pay attention to that stuff. I'm not trying to give away too much, but you guys coming in town for this, TVA does not give a shit about a kayak fishing tournament. So they will flip that switch in a heartbeat. They don't care. They don't care about a bass boat tournament. They don't care if anybody catches any fish or has any fun all weekend long. But pay attention to the generation schedule, because that can literally kill a bite. I mean, in the flip of a switch, it'll kill a bite. One interesting thing about Guntersville, though, it wasn't just the inflow, it was the outflow as well. So the current was running backwards in these creeks. Anybody that was fishing a bridge back in the creeks, the current was running backwards. The lake was filling up as the day went on, which is rare that happens. Generally, if you hear people complain, it's about water dropping. They shut everything off, and we had rain. So there's still water coming in out of these creeks, feeding the lake. Well, it's just continuing to fill up. And that was something I think made the bite a little different, especially people fishing back in creeks and bridges and whatnot.
I think too, you almost got to think of it, Guntersville or anywhere, when it floods, where they go up and they go to the back. Kind of Guntersville, I mean, from the time where I said I went to Guntersville right after KBF, when I got to the ramp this Saturday morning, the water was up 2 feet from where it was. And I mean, that in my spot, it kind of spreads them out more, but it's only 1 to 3 foot. I mean, there's some places where the bottom of that Kilroy is dragging the mud.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, they're still there. There's just, when it gets, when it's 1 foot, you know where they're going to be. When it's 3 foot, they just gained another 200 acres of water.
I fished, I mean, no secret in this one especially. I like the river section, period, but I was literally fishing the actual dam in this one. So that's why the current played such a huge role. If you're down the lake, if you're back up in creeks and stuff, that stuff's a lot more stable. But if you are fishing, especially a river section of these TVA lakes, those fish, they know when to eat. They have an 8-hour window to eat, and that's exactly when they will. And as soon as the water starts dropping, they're good. They're done with that.
And they feed a lot at night too. If they're pulling more current in the afternoon, they'll feed into the night, and then that morning bite's almost non-existent a lot of times.
When did yours turn on? You were putting up fish. It didn't take you all day to do it, though.
No. I caught my first 20 and a half at like 5:04.
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah.
Tournament started at 5. I caught my first 20 and a half at 5:04.
Yeah. So and it's one of those things, like, it's me and my buddy Bubba we talk about, like, that bite don't turn on until 9 o'clock. I mean, it's literally on a timer. And to get I tell myself every time, if I can have 5 fish before 9 o'clock, I'm ahead. I'm in the ball game. And luckily this time the ones before 9 were good ones. 2 20 and a half and a 17. I think I posted my limit I had 91 something by 7:30. I mean, you can see in that picture right there. I mean, it's dark.
These were all on a frog. Did you take any other rods with you?
Yeah, I had 5 with me. Well, I think that very first fish caught on a swim bait, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Just burning it, kind of like a weedless buzz bait. You can hear it coming the whole way.
Let me ask you this, man. What went into the strategy from this picture to this picture to lose the sandals? Were you just loosening it up? What were you doing there?
Yeah, it was game time. See, when it's dark in the morning, and I tell you again, I called Bubba about 4:45. I said, I've heard of there being wild pigs back here, but I've never heard or seen one. And they were, I mean, it sounded like a demons on the bank. So I left I had my sandals on just in case.
In case you need to outrun one, or what? What was?
I don't know what I was going to do. It's better to have shoes on than to be.
You're right. Yeah, you may need a ninja kick one. You got to.
Yeah, but once that sun comes up, I can't have them tan lines, so you got to come off.
Once the hog threat was gone, the sandals come off. I like it.
Them feet picks. They don't want them with tan lines on.
Absolutely, but I'm telling you, those things, man, it was pretty crazy. It was going nuts for about 10 minutes.
Old Josh Stewart gave you a run for your money there, though. He came on pretty hot.
He did.
So Josh, myself, and Jordan Marshall all kind of fished the same little area there on Guntersville most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. And I talked to Marshall, and he's like, "Hey, where are you at? You're not coming down here." I was like, "Man, I got some real life stuff going on. I'm not going to go that far away from the house this morning." Well, he calls me. He's like, "Dude, I got 88.5 inches. I'm rolling to Chickamauga." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm fishing 3 tournaments today." So he goes down there, busts 88.5, and rolls to Chickamauga and catches a limit in that tournament too. So as the day went on, they obviously weren't going to run any water. So I ran down there to take a look at it. I see Josh Stewart, and I'm like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I've already seen like 4 other kayaks, and it's a small little spot like that. It is definitely not a 5-person deal. It would have been close to be a 3-person deal. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not really catching that good. I caught some early." He's like, "I need a 19 and a 20. And I was like, "A 19 and a 20? Why would he even say that?" I was like, he must be sitting on a bag if he said I needed a 19 and a 20. And then when I heard you two get called up for first and second before they announced the winner, I was like, "Daggum, he needed a 19 and 20 to call out like a 100-inch limit," is what he was saying. I get it now. Smart man.
Those, I mean, I think, was it top 5 with 90 inches or 93 inches?
Yeah, well, it was that. Yeah, this tournament had big bags, and the TVKA tournament was like all the way down like 58, 57, 58 plus the whole top 10 3-fish tournament. So it was pretty impressive. And
did not sign up for that one.
I heard that. Steve, I talked to Steve, and he's like, "Randall didn't even sign up for our tournament." He's like, he thought he did. He's like, "I went back and checked." He's like, he didn't sign up for it.
Well, I could have swore I signed up for all 3 of them. Then I looked Friday morning, and I was like, "Man, I guess I did." And I said, "I ain't going to fool with it because for whatever reason, I just talked myself out of it on Friday." And
you didn't need that extra money anyway.
Yeah. I always look at tournaments that, sorry, man. I was going to say, I always look at tournaments down the leaderboard. All the tournaments, whoever wins, it usually, it's top heavy. When you look down here and you see this thing, in the 20s, 30, all in the 80-inch range, a place is fishing really good. So, Randall, tell it, even without the generation happening, why was it fishing so good for you guys?
Honestly, I think I keep going back there. It's just a spot. They're residential. I don't think they ever leave. They move around from spot to spot within that area, but they just don't leave. And I will say, a lot of people know where I fish, and 99.9 of them know that they've drove by it for years, and they don't come fish it. They kind of has always let me just have it, me and Bubba, and it's just a good spot. There ain't no secret sauce. There ain't no cheat code on Gurns or nothing. It's just a spot. It's just one of those spots like Ryan has with the small. It's just a spot.
For about a month and a half. Mine is a lot more temperamental though. It when mine's off, it's completely done. Seems like that once your spot turns on, you've got about 3 or 4 months that it fishes really well.
About the beginning of September, for whatever reason, again, the shallow Guntersville, that bite turns off in September, and you think frog bite is getting good. Well, that's done there. If you want to get on the frog bite on Guntersville, you got to go out to the main river and get on some of those big mats. But
yep,
it's just a spot, and I stupidly didn't fish it for KBF. And it is
the Tennessee River's on fire right now, though. Like Jeff was saying, when you get down into the 20s and people are still putting up mid 80s limits, the TVA river system as a whole is on fire. The spawn was late this year. We just had the second big wave of spawners come in about a week and a half ago. So a lot of those fish are still up shallow. They hadn't all pulled out to the ledges yet. That really makes for a fun bite as far as numbers goes, because you can get out on a grass flat or get up in a pocket and those fish are still there. They're garden fry. It's still a really active bite. And that really goes through the whole river system. You saw it in the MLF Big Five down there. I'm sure you're going to see it play into, I think the National Professional Fishing League is on Watts Bar. I think you'll see that play a lot up there too. The whole Tennessee River is pretty predictable at that time of year. Chick's been putting out 30 bags to win the local tournament. So I think we're in for a good couple weeks of fishing here for sure.
That's going to be my question to you, man. Is Chick going to show out here in a few weeks for the BOS?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to take upper 90s each day to win it.
I'm signed up, but I've only been there once. So
You'll have a good time. It'll be, I think, again, with kind of the cycle, like the first wave of spawners was a little over a month ago. The second wave of spawners was about a week and a half ago. There'll probably still be a late wave coming in. So you'll be able to catch fish from 2 feet to 35 feet, depending on, what your comfort zone is. You'll be able to find the bite that you're looking for. The question is, are you going to be able to find enough big bites? Because I really think you'll need a 18 and a half inch average to do any damage on this one.
Yeah. Earlier today, I think it was today, maybe last night, there was a question about frog fishing on the group page. Did you see that, Ryan?
I didn't.
So obviously, Randall, you had a little frog bite going here. That's your deal on Guntersville. Tell some folks about your frog setup. Any tips to land more of these fish, especially in a tournament? Because I know that's a technique that you can lose or miss a lot of fish.
Yeah. I hope he's watching, because it's a perfect question for my buddy Bubba, who
he is watching. He's been in the
watching.
Comments.
Is he good?
Oh yeah.
Here it comes. We were fishing within 3 feet of each other. We always do. and with frog fishing, when you do when it's a big bite. It just the sound of it. When Jesus drops a bowling ball, it's big. And there it was. I mean, it blew up, and I seen Bubba. He bowed up. Rod, he stuck him. About that time when that fish come back in the water and darted, snatched that rod clean out of his hand.
No way.
Going in the boat. So he's fumbling down, gets his rod back up. Fish comes off. He just looks at me. And first thing comes, I wish I had a GoPro.
Buddy, come on now.
It straight took his rod from him.
But frog fishing's tough anyway, though. Like frog fishing isn't a high percentage way to catch fish.
It's not. And luckily Saturday I probably lost 2 fish that would have culled some. They weren't giants, maybe 17, 18, or maybe 18, 19s. We lost a few of them, but I use the same frog until it don't have any legs, and if they're still biting it with no legs, I keep using it because I use Spros. And when you get, I get a Spro. If I get a new one, I put it up in the dash of my truck. And I let it sit there in that sun for 2 weeks, soften the plastic. You can take sandpaper on the top of them, rub them real good. It makes more grip. It'll stick to the fish's mouth as he goes down.
I saw people put Velcro on them.
You can put Velcro on them. I don't do Velcro, but I'll rough up the top of them. And it's one of those count. You hear the sound, 1, 2, 3. And if any quicker than that, they're probably not back in the water or they don't have it. And you'll snatch it from them every time.
So what do you think happening there? Are they taking it and then kind of giving it another swallow as they go down with it? Is that the deal?
When they blow up on it, they just want to get it.
Right.
They want to eat it when they get back. So if you give them that time to take it with them and get that another gulp, you can get it down. And when they take it, I show you a picture of I caught a 21 and a half, I think it was, that when I told you I went back and fished that spot after KBF. And, he had it in the back of his throat. Like, I was afraid he was going to kill the fish, how far back he had it. When they want it, they want it. But sometimes, it's just one of those bites where it could be a day where they just nipping at it. Little pops, little blow-ups. They don't want to eat it. And then you get a blow-up, you set the hook, it comes flying back at you. And you think, oh, God, I hate this. Well, they never had it. We had fish, Saturday that would blow up a foot behind the frog. And sometimes you look and you don't see a frog, you snatch, and here it comes flying at you. So it's one of those patient deals. You will lose fish. If anybody says they catch them all on a frog, it's an absolute liar.
I'd say overall, if you had to look at frog fishing as far as bites going to who lands what, it's probably a 30% to 40% success ratio. It has to be one of the lower hookup ratios in fishing. Dylan, that's what he did all at Broken Bow was frog fish. And he lost a ton of fish. He's like, I lost 4 or 5, 18 to 20 inch fish. I'm like, because you're frog fishing. Like, that's why if they're not keyed in on it, it's really hard to dial in that frog bite. If they're not trying to eat it, if they're just swatting at whatever's on the surface, you're a lot more likely to hook them with a buzz bait or running a swim bait on the surface, some kind of single hook bait. You're a lot more likely to land them, but it's hard to get them. It is hard to get them on that frog when they're not.
Yeah, that was one of the keys to Justin Brewer finishing high at Broken Bow was he was skipping frogs in that buckbrush. Mm-hmm. But he had, I say it wasn't luck. He just landed more fish on that frog than probably Dylan did. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Got him to the boat. So
with that frog in the spawn, you can use it just to locate fish. They don't want to eat it. They're not hungry. They're spawning. It's defensive. Hey, get away from me. And then you can fire back in there with a Cinco or something. But also like spawn to post spawn, they're hungry. They're wanting. They're hungry. In the spawn, a lot of times you just get those fish wanting to, get away from where they're at. So you'll lose a lot more fish that way. But once post spawn, you get those hungry fish. I mean, you'll know when they come out like a shark after a baby seal.
I like this. I'm learning about frog fishing. So one more question about that is, are you using popping frog or a walking frog or both?
No, just Spro, the bronze eyes 65. I've been using the same frog. I mean, I got the 2 Spro tournaments that I won out of that same spot on the Spro frog. I got it hanging on the wall. You can blow on it and it'll collapse the plastic. That's how soft.
That's crazy.
And it's so thin, but I mean, they'll last for years and years and years unless a bowfin takes it.
Yeah, that'll tear one up real quick.
Yeah, there's a bowfin out there swimming at least with probably 4 or 5 stuck in his face.
So you hear a lot about, and you talked about some of it with leaving it in the sun or whatever. What kind of modifications do you do? Do you trim the legs? You bend the hooks out? You do any of that stuff?
I used to, I thought it helped, but now I really don't. I just soften the plastic. And if I'm fishing, I don't know if a lot of people that noticed it on Guntersville, there's a lot of algae in some of the shallow stuff. So that's the stuff will foul up your hooks, where if you're in just milfoil or topped out hydrilla, something like that, you don't mess with them. But that algae, sometimes I'll bend my hooks in. I know I'm going down on the hookup. I'm going down on the hookup. But if I don't have to clean my frog every time it comes in, I'm getting more casts back out. So it's kind of a trade-off. I'm going to cast 100 more times today, but I might lose 2 more fish. So but if I didn't make those 100 casts, I might not have missed the 2 fish anyway. So
True. This is frog science. It's a good one, Jeff.
This is a good one. I'm going to edit this out, make this a clip. It's good stuff. We don't have much frog fishing here in the Ozarks, Randall.
Y'all don't have them deep, clear water frog fish just sitting down there at 60 feet waiting on something to run across the top of them.
Yeah, we probably could throw in sawdust mats and stuff right now because it's flooded right now. But other than that, no.
Oh, okay.
I just throw 3 colors and spawn. I throw some kind of brim colored orange something. Rest of the summer, I throw a black one. Sun's out. Obviously, probably about better when the sun's out, and then that black gives off more of a shadow. They can't see what color it is, but the black casts more of a shadow into the water than a lighter colored one.
That's the funniest part to me is how much people completely overthink the color of frog. Like this shit is running across a grass mat over their head. You think that fish in that half a second it has to react has identified how much orange is on the belly of that frog? Are you crazy? I mean, people get tore up on it, man. They're like, if I had that one with that extra blue on its back, how the hell was that fish see it? It ain't got a drone. How did it know that there was blue on that frog?
All those colors are for fishermen. That ain't for the fish. That's just and I got a whole box of them, a wall of them of every color, and I still throw orange in the spring, black in the summer, white in the fall.
There's something comforting about it's comfortable to open your box and see all them colors, whether it's crankbaits, frogs, whatever.
You want to have options because you feel like you're going to use them, but you're not.
Yeah. It's like having 15 rods behind you. You're only going to use 1 or 2, but you feel comfortable that they're back there.
Yeah, because if you don't have it, then you end up needing it.
Yeah.
I wish I ran a GoPro back in the day because I took Steve-O for his first frog fishing trip. We went down to Crow Creek, and it was in the evening/night. And I told him, I was like, Steve, when they hit that, and they were chewing. I was like, when they hit that frog, man, I was like, count to 3 and set the hook. But that fish hadn't even smelt the foot of that frog, and he had already snatched, and the frog goes flying by his head past me, and I was like, what in the hell? He did that for another 2 hours, and finally counted one down and set the hook on it, and he's like, boy, that was tough. And I was like, God, you have missed 110 inches of freaking fish right here. It was
I've been trying to get Steve-O to come down and come frog fishing. He just tells me how much he hates it.
I want you, if he does, I don't even want to fish. I want to record you two fishing because I want to watch Steve snatch that frog out of them big fishes.
We need to get together because the next 3 months will be
Let's see.
lights
Let me
out.
check my schedule. Yeah, we can get down there probably in the next 3 months, I'd say.
Randall, I don't know if you saw Bubba's comment. He said he's calling the IRS and reporting your winnings, I guess, for
Yes,
telling
what
that
he
story.
said.
Telling that story about your rod there.
Now you're gonna tell another story of him cussing and all the other fish. I hate it for him, but he left 96, 97 inches out there on Saturday.
Really?
Bubba.
Is he throwing the same heat treated frogs as you?
Same setup. Just
You're just that much better than him. Is that what it comes down to?
He had his shoes on. He wears socks and tacos.
No, shut up.
I've been trying to tell him for years to stop, but he just keeps
Socks.
on.
Are you being serious right now?
Bubba, come on, man. I don't even know you. Come on.
No.
I'll send y'all a picture. Y'all can change the group page. I'll send you a picture of it.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
That's wild.
But talking about your hook set though, real quick, when counting and all that, if you miss a bite and that frog don't come flying by your head, you're not setting the hook hard enough. I see a lot of people get blow ups and they want to jig, lean into it like Randall Tharp, don't want to slack line, but I mean, you gotta set them.
No, you got to cross their eyes on the frog for sure.
If you miss, you want to hear that frog coming back by you. That's the truth. That's how hard you got to set it on them and that stuff.
Hey, Ryan, I got this picture that you sent me. I saw it here about mid show. I'm gonna throw it on the screen. You said show this about the Guntersville event.
Randall, I'll let you comment on this. Look at that. You know whose that is.
Oh, poor feller.
No ID.
I called him the next day. We missed each other, but I felt terrible. Like I didn't make the NACA weigh-in. Obviously, I went to the other one, but when they told me about that, I could not believe he forgot to put his identifier in that picture.
What a freaking! I mean, that fish. That's Guntersville. Like it is just monsters, But that's a tough one.
That's a heartbreaker. Like Gene, when they told me that, like you could feel it. Like man, I could not imagine. Now he still has a story of catching an absolute.
Oh yeah,
giant.
Yeah,
but he did leave a couple $300-400 in big fish out there because he didn't put his hand on it. But
monster.
I told him when I talked to him, if that was a pre-spawn fish, that might go double digit.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
that's probably an 8-pound fish right there.
I'd put a couple dollars on that. Yeah, for sure, guys.
That sucker's thick, even if it's post spawn. You know what I mean? That's a thick fish.
So, needless to say, Guntersville's fishing great. A lot of, Guntersville kind of hit a slump there a few years ago. It was getting a ton of big boat pressure, and it still gets big boat pressure, but it kind of hit a slump. They were spraying a lot of grass. The lake kind of suffered. It's back. Guntersville's back. Write it down. Tattoo it on your forearm somewhere. It is back. It's wide open, and Guntersville will fish great, for the rest of this season. As long as TVA doesn't get out there and spray the grass for whatever they say, boat owners, boat dock people, they don't have to spray the main channel flats and these backwaters and stuff. Just leave that stuff alone. That grass grows big fish. If you want to kill a lake's fishing, spray the grass. That's an easy way to do it. Look at Wheeler. Look at Eufaula. We just went there and experienced that.
Chickamauga. Nickajack is what it is. There ain't much water there.
You can have that one.
Guntersville, Wheeler just being what I call the butthole of the TVA chain. They killed all the grass because of the intakes from the plants on the river. The intakes pulling the water in was pulling in grass, which was killing revenue. So they killed all the grass, and Wheeler went away.
But that's what they don't want to tell you. That's what TVA does not want to say. They want to say it's for homeowners and pleasure boaters and all this shit. That's like, I just tell the truth about it. Come on.
If you look, I think it was 2011, 12, and when Takahiro went in on Wheeler, throwing the top water, catching 5-pounders every cast. Like that was the old Wheeler. Now it's just garbage. When's the last national event you've seen on Wheeler?
I fished one about 4 or 5 years ago, and they were having the Forest Wood Cup when it was down there on Wheeler because Shane and John Cox fished like right on top of each other.
Yeah, John Cox ran all up into Kateco Creek as far as he could go. I wouldn't even call that wheeler. He was in 3 counties over.
That's where Shane was. They were literally in a 20-yard wide creek, and he's like, "Dude, John Cox is right next to me." I was like, "Wreck his fish, woo!" Take that, sucker.
Frog fishing.
Yep.
Insane.
Well, I love it. Good show. Good job, Randall, as always on Guntersville. Sorry I couldn't give you a better run on this one. I'll be back.
Appreciate it.
I ain't gonna quit. I'll be back. I'll try to make up for it on Chickamauga. I'm gonna put in.
I'm sure you would.
I'm gonna put in a little bit of effort on this one. I'm gonna get up on time. I'm gonna iron my socks to put on with my Crocs. I'm gonna be looking fresh out there at the boat ramp. Keep your eyes peeled.
I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, man.
Anybody
Good
that's going to be in town for Chickamauga, we'll talk about this again Monday. I want to go ahead and put it out here now. We're going to try to do some kind of meetup in Dayton. We'll drop a location on that, try to get everybody together and hang out and shake some hands.
There we go. Great show, man. And Chris has been in the waiting room taking notes for Chickamauga and Guntersville, so we appreciate Chris coming on, sharing his story tonight. And Randall, appreciate you, man. I learned a little bit about frog fishing tonight, man, so I appreciate it.
It was a good one.
All right, y'all. We gone.
See you, boys.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
Whoa.
Winner. The winner of the giveaway. Time out.
Of course.
Jordan.
Hey,
Jordan
don't let Bubba
Comfort.
get hands every raffle. Please do not let Bubba Jones win this raffle.
He did not. Jordan Comfort. You're the winner.
Thank you.
All right.
Get with me after the show, and I'll get you the details. So there you go, Jordan Comfort. With that said, we gone.
See y'all.
See y'all.